What's up, Monty G, the Horror Miser, your boy Addiction from Addiction TV coming at you right now, man. And before we get into this Q&A, I want to tell you I appreciate all the love and support you show my YouTube channel, man. I really do. It's awesome to be involved in the horror community. I love discussing horror, and I just want to let you know I appreciate you. I appreciate you for doing this Q&A, man. That's the shit, bro. And you show a lot of love to quite a few of my videos, man, and I really do appreciate it, man, so thank you. But let's go ahead and get into this Q&A.
Okay, Addiction, I created these 10 questions for you because I feel as though you're an up-and-coming YouTuber, and I feel as though we need to introduce yourself, get you exposed out there for the horror community, so I came up with these 10 questions. And starting off with question number 1, how did you come up with the idea to create your own YouTube channel? In other words, what made you decide, you know what, I want to create a YouTube channel and, get my thoughts out there? That's question number 1.
Well, I started the YouTube channel because I rap. I make music, and it actually took a lot of people talking me into making a channel before I made it. Because, a couple years ago, I was perfectly fine with just putting my music and my music videos on Facebook. And then finally people talked me into it. They're like, make a YouTube channel. So I made a YouTube channel, started uploading, songs and music videos. And then I was like, man, it's cool as hell having a YouTube channel. I can do way more than just music on here. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk about movies, mainly horror movies. And, I'm a big superhero head, so some of those, but mainly horror. And, it's starting to get bigger, and I'm like, hell yeah, it's so awesome to look in the comments and see people's thoughts on a certain film. But no, I started the YouTube channel because of the music.
Now, question number 2 is, obviously, how did you get into horror? People always ask me that question when I started my YouTube channel, so I'm going to ask you that question. How did you get into horror?
How did I get into horror? Well, the first 6 years of my life, well, you know what? I'll save that for later. Let me say this. What got me into horror was Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson's Scream. I seen Scream in '96 when it came out, when I was 6 years old, and dude, it fucked me up in the head. It scared the hell out of me. And right after I saw Scream, it sucked me in, dude. I was like, I'm scared, but this feels awesome. This adrenaline rush. So many emotions in horror films, you laugh, you cry, you scream, you feel for people. And I was like, this is a crazy feeling. So 2 years after that, I'm 8 years old, I see Halloween H2O, which, being an adult now, you look back and it's like, damn, that film wasn't even that good. But being an 8-year-old kid, dude, Halloween H2O scared the hell out of me. So Scream and Halloween H2O, they fucking made me feel that adrenaline rush and that fear. And I'm like, oh man, this is a good feeling. So it was Scream and Halloween H2O that got me into horror.
Question number 3, how did you come up with your YouTube name? It's very unique, Addiction TV. I like it. It's very creative. So I want to know, how did you come up with that name?
Well, I got the YouTube name from Addiction is my rap name. Addiction is my stage name. But my name, I used to actually go by D Jones for years, until a couple years back I signed with this record company called Wicked Tendency Records. They're like, do a little research, see if you come across anybody else using the name D Jones, and it's pretty common. So I did some research. I found another rapper named D Jones, and he was pretty popular. He had it copyrighted, so I couldn't use it no more. I'm like, fuck, man. So I'm struggling for days trying to come up with a name. And one night I was on the phone with my dad. He raps too, and he's a big horror head. And he's like, just calm down, Darius. You need to calm down, man. He's like, you'll come up with something. He's like, I'm telling you, entertainment, music is your addiction. And right there I was like, addiction. That's gonna be me, because I was struggling. I didn't even give myself the name. He didn't even give me the name, really. I mean, it just kind of came out of his mouth, and I'm like, okay, I'm Addiction now. So the reason I chose Addiction too, and my channel was called Addiction TV, is because I'm addicted to things. Obviously, I'm addicted to horror movies. I'm addicted to television shows. I'm addicted to music. You can be addicted to a lot of things. I'm like, I like this name. So let me get in contact with all the horror addicts on YouTube. You know what I mean? So no, that's how I came up with the name Addiction.
Question number 4. What was the first horror movie did you ever see?
My first horror movie, they didn't really affect me. Like I said, it was Scream and Halloween H2O that really pulled me in and made me a big horror fan. But I can't remember the exact first horror film I ever seen because I was like 4. But I know it was either Creepshow, Silver Bullet, or Pet Sematary 2. My aunt is a Stephen King freak, and I seen so many of his movies as just a toddler, just a little kid, man. And I remember it being one of those 3 was my first. Hell, it might not have even been a Stephen King movie. I remember seeing The Exorcist and all kinds of stuff before I really became a fan, man, and I was young. So, yeah, but no, it was either Creepshow, Pet Sematary 2, or Silver Bullet was one of my first horror movies.
Question number 5. What is the best and worst horror movies you have ever seen?
Some of the best horror movies, in my opinion, are, like Psycho, Halloween. I really liked Candyman. I liked, just a few years back, Mama. Mama wasn't a bad movie. I really actually liked that film. I really liked Insidious, too. Insidious was entertaining. There's so many, but you asked me what some of the worst are that I've seen. Oh, let me say another one I really fucking love before I get into the worst. I really love Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, starring Johnny Depp. It's a musical, but like I said, man, I'm a music head. I'm addicted to music. I listen to all kinds of music. So it's like a horror and it's a musical. And I just love Sweeney Todd. But some of the worst I've seen, oh man, there's a lot of them. House of a Thousand Corpses. No offense to Rob Zombie. I'm a big Rob Zombie fan. But I'm sorry, House of a Thousand Corpses is one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen in my life. I did not like Annabelle. Annabelle was the first Annabelle I did not like. I did like Annabelle Creation, but the first one I was just like, it wasn't for me. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation. Oh my goodness, dude. One of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. But it is kind of funny, but it's just not something I want to watch again. Freddy's Dead. Oh my goodness, dude. That's what killed the franchise for me. Because at this point, Freddy Krueger's just a joke, man. And the kills in that movie were even a joke, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is stupid. So, that's some of my best and some of my worst.
Question number 6. Have you seen any of the classic horror movies? Universal Monsters, Hammer Horror, those old classic horror shows, movies. I'll get it right.
No, I actually haven't seen any of the classic Universal Monster movies, man. I really need to. I need to get caught up on those. I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never actually seen a full film.
Question number 7. I think I have an idea about who your favorite is, but I'll ask this question anyway. Who is your favorite among Freddy, Jason, and Michael, or Leatherface?
Like you said, Monty, you might be able to guess, and you probably know exactly who my favorite is, but it's Michael Myers, man. Michael Myers has always been the guy who scared me the most, man. Michael Myers, that mask, you could project your own fears onto that mask. The way certain lighting hits that mask is just creepy. Sometimes the way it looks like it has a different expression, the way he stalks his prey, the way he walks around, I love the classic John Carpenter film, camera pans, he's standing behind you for a second and then you walk back, he's not there. I love those types of shots, man. Michael Myers has always been my go-to serial killer. And what makes it so good to me is the simplicity of the original film, man. It was something so simple, not a big budget, and now look at it now, it's a worldwide phenomenon, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh man, you know, Michael Myers was the shit. But I think my second favorite is probably Leatherface. And yeah, it's Leatherface, because if that motherfucker was running toward me with that chainsaw, dude, I'd be scared as hell, bro. And next would be Freddy Krueger. I'm a big Chucky guy. I'm not big on Jason. I personally, I like the character of Jason, but I am not the biggest fan of the Friday the 13th movies. I'm not bashing anybody that does like Friday the 13th. I like the first two, and after those I was like, eh. But not the biggest Jason fan. He kind of just feels like a little bit of a knockoff of Michael Myers. But no, Michael Myers is my boy.
Question number 8. Out of all the horror remakes, which is the best and worst have you seen?
Dude, one of my favorite remakes, since we were just talking about Friday the 13th, is actually the 2009 version of Friday the 13th with Derek Mears playing Jason. I loved that remake, dude. It was what I wanted to see in the original franchise. It was dark, it was gritty. I liked the score. I like the fact that they made Jason run now, dude. And I really like that film because it separates him from Michael Myers. We never see Michael Myers run. You know, the older Jason movies, the first few he actually ran, and some people don't realize that. And then, you know, the films go on and he starts slowing down, he starts walking. So it was nice to see Jason run again. I'm a big fan of the 2003 remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I thought 13 Ghosts was good. That movie scared the hell out of me as a kid, man. The jackal, the torso, dude, it was creepy as hell in my opinion. I was just like, oh man. It 2017 was fucking bomb. I loved it. I wasn't a big fan of the miniseries, to be honest with you. It just, it wasn't for me. I watched it as a kid and it just didn't even affect me, man. But now as an adult, seeing It 2017, it really creeped me out. And I'm not even afraid of clowns. I love clowns. But I really did enjoy the new Child's Play 2019. And I was one of those guys actually bashing the movie before it came out. I was like, man, hashtag not my Chucky, you know. And then I went and saw the film with an open mind, and I was like, that was pretty damn good. So I really liked Child's Play 2019. It was one of my remakes, one of my favorites. One of the worst remakes, you know what I'm gonna say, is Rob Zombie's Halloween and Halloween 2. Oh my goodness, dude, it was so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I'm not even gonna talk about that right now because I'll get into a rant. The Fog, I didn't really care for that. Psycho, the 90s remake of Psycho, oh my goodness, I hated it, dude. It was just like the same movie. Like, they didn't even add their own little twist on it. It was like watching the original film just updated shot for shot. Like, I'm like, oh man, I do not like this at all. But you know, there's some of my worst and some of my best remakes.
Question number 9. Outside of horror, what other genres of film do you enjoy watching?
Other genres that I really love are I love comedies, man. I'm a big comedy person. I like action films. I'm a big superhero fan. I love superhero films, comic book movies. Hell, there's even some chick flicks that I like, to be honest with you. I'm not big on, you know, dramas. There's a few out there I like, but I love comedy and I love comic book movies. They are the shit.
And question number 10. Where do you see horror going in the next 5 years?
Where do I see horror in the next 5 years? Well, I'm going to say this. Lately, things have not been too bad in the horror genre. I personally think Child's Play was good. Halloween 2018 was good, you know, and I hope they can keep making these classics good like they have been doing. I have not seen Annabelle Comes Home yet. I heard it was a good film. I just recently watched The Nun, actually. I really don't know how I feel about it quite yet. Me and my girlfriend watched it a couple nights ago. I really didn't want to see it. But you know, she's like, just let's watch it. And I'm like, alright. I actually liked it better than I thought I would be. The score, I loved the score in The Nun, the theme of The Nun, and there wasn't too much I loved about it, but I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it as much as I disliked the first Annabelle movie. So, you know, if they can keep going with the Conjuring universe being good, these slasher reboots and remakes, if they can keep up with those and make them good, I feel like the next 5 years of horror will be the shit. You know, I definitely am enjoying everything Blumhouse is doing right now. I actually watched a Netflix movie called Thriller. It's a Blumhouse film. I really liked that. It was kind of cheesy, but it was pretty entertaining. But I appreciate everybody taking the time out to check out this video. I appreciate you, Monty, for the Q&A, man. That's awesome, dude. I love your channel, and I appreciate all the love you show me on my channel. And for everybody who doesn't know who I am ADiktion. And everybody who doesn't know who Monty G is, he is the Horror Miser. Both of our channels will be linked down below. And I thank you guys for taking your time out to check out this video. Until next time, guys, everybody have a good day.